Chief Tola Adeniyi, it's good to have you on State Affairs.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm always delighted to be with you and to rub minds with you.
Thank you for coming. A nation of idiots.
Yes.
You really meant it?
I meant it. I mean, that was the title I chose for it. Except it was my friend, late Professor George Obiozo, who said, no, that's too hard, too harsh. Why not tune it down? Choose a different title. You know that Nigeria is in the belly of vultures. But to say that the vultures, the people in the belly of vultures are also idiots, is too much for them. They've already been made. They've already been eaten up by the vultures. Why do you want to add more to the agony by calling them idiots? So just let them remain in the belly of vultures and don't add any insult to their injury. Don't call them idiots. So that's why when the title was, even when it was going to the press, it was a nation of idiots. It was Obiozo who changed the title.
And you agreed with his argument?
Yes, I did. Because it was not the Nigerians that really offended me. Well, nobody offended me, but I was really frustrated by the foolishness, by the seeming helplessness of Nigerians that have been able to tolerate all the nonsense they've been going through over the years. And it still aches me now that if they become more idiotic than they were at the time I was writing this book some 8-9 years ago.
They've become weaker.
More idiotic.
The vultures have become more powerful. More powerful.
I mean, the vultures have made the mincemeat of them, just tearing them apart into pieces and chopping their heads off.
Who are the vultures?
The vultures are the political class. Whether in uniform or in Agbada or in Babariga or in whatever dress they wore. It's the political class. They're anti-people, wicked, unfeeling, selfish, greedy. I can't understand how any collection of human beings could tolerate them and live with them and allow them to remain so.
Have Nigerians tolerated them?
Well, if they've not tolerated them, they should have removed them.
Have they not fought them on different occasions?
Well, maybe meekly. I mean, when people fight, you don't fight halfway. When you want to fight, you uproot.
Uproot can be a revolution.
Yeah, that's what this country needs. Revolution, serious one.
NSAS was a resistance.
NSAS,
of the elite.
Yes, it wasn't of the elite. It was the young people. It was the resistance by the young people.
And I'm saying resisting the political elite.
Yes, they were. It was well organized.
So they are not idiots.
No, the youth of this country are not idiots.
But you have called them members of a nation of idiots.
Yeah, members of the oppressed and depressed and repressed.
And you made a point in this book, your literary autobiography.
Yes.
That is young people that have the power to change the country.
They are. I still believe they are the people who could change the country. I mean, when Zegu made an attempt, he was under 30 years of age. You know, all of them, they were under 30 years of age. It's the young people who have the muscle to change any society. Jesus was under 30. Except Prophet Muhammad, who was in his late 50s when he started his own religious revolution. All the other leaders I know were under 40 years of age.
In the belly of vultures?
Yes.
Are we still in the belly of vultures?
Much more so.
Can we come out of the belly of vultures?
I don't know. I'm not optimistic at all. I'm just scared and saddened by what I see, what I hear, what I notice, and what people say. You know, it's we are so much inside. We are so much gone that I wonder if we could really get out of the belly. And if we do get out, if the youth can do something, those of us who are advanced in age, we're already gone. I mean, what am I going to benefit if the country changes? Over 80 years of age. And people in my generation and those who are very close to my generation have lost. They've lost the war, they've lost the battle. So they should just count their days and wait for the time they're going to end up in the grave.
At what point did the rain begin to beat us?
I would say from the time strange bedfellows were put together, when that man, history says is a eunuch, brought Nigerian people from the north and people from the south together.
You're talking about Lord Lugard?
Yeah, they say it's a eunuch. Yeah, Lord Lugard. I don't call him Lord Lugard. I just call him a criminal fellow.
Why criminal?
Well, what did he do in India? What did he do in the Sudan? It's just a career. It was more or less a dignified pirate.
He amalgamated the north and the south
Yes.
protectorate.
Yes.
And
that was the beginning. And in fairness to him, he said for 100 years. The British at that time, 100 years. If it was for 100 years, that would have lapsed in 2014. But here we are, 2025. Because the greedy politicians will not do what they needed to do.
What should they do?
They should have. The amalgamation was off by 2014, according to the books.
So, but we decided to keep it.
Yeah.
We have a right to keep it.
The question is not right. It's not whether we have a right or not right. And why should you keep something that was not legally binding? Why should you keep something that was not democratically processed?
Chief Adeniyi, don't forget we have gone through different constitutional processes to refine that amalgamation. So we have the 1999 Constitution that keeps the country together.
Lord of mercy. Who are the people in the Constitution? What are the people doing in the Constitution? Is it not the same people in the belly of the vultures? What are the people doing in the Constitution?
So if you had your way?
If I had my way, the first and foremost, at the time in 1952, when they are talking about putting secession clause in the Constitution, which was vetoed by Zik according to history, and Awolowo and Ahmadu Bello agreed to having a secession clause in the bogus thing. Then everybody would have gone their way, let the Ijaws, the fourth largest ethnic group in Nigeria, have their own country, let the Yorubas have their own country, let the Igbos have their own country, and the people of the east and the west and the south and the north will have been the better for it. So, what constitution are you talking about?
So you think Nigeria, as presently constituted, will not work?
I've said that a million times. It will never work. We just keep on postponing the evil day. We've seen that it's not working. It can never work.
Is it not working?
Of course it's not working. Look at the people, look at graduates selling plantain chips all over the place. Look at people, graduates carrying children on their back and holding children on their hand, still roaming, going about on Ikire Road and all that. See poverty-stricken people in Port Harcourt. See them in Nubi. See them in Nasarawa. See them in Zamfara.
But you still find them in poor countries like Niger, Chad. These are countries that you can say are monocultural.
But they're not working. No, it's not the fact that it's so. It's not because Nigeria is not working. It's not because it's not monocultural. It's more than that. We're just unfortunate that when the colonial masters left, the people took over. Excuse those who ran for just 5 years. Those who followed them after 5 years, they continued to mess up the country and they behaved worse than the British colonial masters.
Why are you exempting the first 5 years?
I think because at that time it was a confederation. The West was the Igbos were running their country, the Yoruba were running their country, the Hausa under Ahmadu Bello, they were running their country. And they
were running their regions.
Yes, that's what I mean. It's a country. I mean, this is a Yoruba country.
Okay.
So they were running, and the federal government was not breathing down on anybody. In fact, they were in charge.
But at some point, the federal government began to breathe down on the western region.
Yeah, that was the beginning of the problem. After that, it was the attempt by the NPC to whittle down the powers of Awolowo and all that. Then they conspired, created the Midwest and all that, and then wanted to send soldiers to run down the south because of Western Nigeria, because the people didn't support Akitola, or didn't believe Akitola won the election. And then, the soldiers took advantage of that and felt they should end it all. And that was why they struck.
The soldiers like Nzogu.
Nzogu, my hero forever.
Your hero forever?
Yeah.
You named the street after Nzogu.
I did. 1976, Chukma Nzogu Crescent.
At the time, nobody dared to do that.
In fact, the chairman of the local government of Ibadan municipal government, Abbas, was afraid. He couldn't do it. Jembewa was scared. They had to get clearance from the Don Barracks before they could give approval to the Ibadan municipal government to name a street after Nzogu.
So they eventually gave approval?
They did.
Why did they give approval?
Well, maybe because Nzogu was Obasanjo's friend, or Obasanjo had a soft spot for him. That's what I thought. But even without the approval at that time, I'd already put signboards there. Nzogu Crescent.
So what excites you about him? Some people called him a cold-blooded murderer.
Well, I don't call him a cold-blooded murderer. I called him a revolutionary. And revolutionaries have their own way of doing things. If he felt that those who he rightly accused of running down the country should be killed, so be it. And as I said in one of my columns in 1978, 79, that if I was one of those, the 3,000 people that I said are running down the country, but one of them, they should tie me to the stake and shoot me. And I still stand by that. I did stand by that.
You visited Nzogu's mother at some point?
Yes, I went up on him to see his mother after the war.
Why?
Because I wanted to see the woman who gave birth to such a great man.
Did you see her?
I did. Of course I saw her.
What did you tell her?
I told her that that our son fought a gallant fight, and that he had a mission to rescue Nigeria and rescue Nigerians. If he had succeeded, we probably wouldn't be where we are today.
Can you remember her look while you were talking?
The woman?
Yes.
No. But I know she wasn't big. Oh, when I was talking, she, I mean, they've just gone out of war. I mean, the war just ended, and she suffered also during the war, running herself, with the children and all that. The war devastated the eastern region. But I could see that her eyes were teary, I could see that she lost a son.
What about his father?
I call him Jesus of 1966. No, I didn't talk about his father. I went specifically to see the mother. I didn't ask for anybody.
How were you able to find her?
I mean, I'm a journalist. I'm a reporter. I just asked. I knew she was in Opadam, and I went there.
You called him Jesus of 1966.
Yes, in my collection Soul Fire, which was published in 1974. Jesus of 1966.
The Nzogu coup led to a counter coup.
Yes.
And the counter coup was more bloody.
Yes.
Than the January coup.
Of course.
That counter coup brought Gowon.
Yes.
As head of state.
Yes.
And you wrote a lot against Gowon.
I did.
So what was it that angered you about him?
At that point in time, I thought and believed that he was immature and that he was not running the country well. And things were going out of hand, and he didn't check. I mean, all the governors were there. He couldn't change them. He couldn't do any shuffle of his cabinet. And there were allegations of corruption and so on, you know. And I felt it was weak. But from hindsight now, it is the same me who wrote some 10 years ago that Gowon was the father of modern Nigeria.
So what changed your mind?
In comparison, what followed? I began to recognize that it was the one who did the Lagos-Ibadan Express. It was the one who built the airport. It was the one who built the cultural center. It was the one who did so many things. You know. And I mean, in comparison, I mean, it wasn't as bad as we thought, as the media painted him to be.
So how do you describe the media for doing that?
They were just responding to the issue at the moment, responding to what was on ground at that time. You know, I mean, nobody knew that Nigeria was going to be progressively worse. We thought it was going to get better.
Did you say progressively worse?
Yeah.
Is that a satire?
No, because it has become worse since then. I mean, right from the time Gowon was overthrown, it started nosediving.
And you predicted his fall.
Oh yes, I did.
Remember the article?
Oh yes. I wrote "Let Me Fall." I wrote "May We Never See It Again." When I predicted his fall, 13,000 copies of Daily Times were burnt because it was satire, and my bosses didn't see it. You know, it was after the first edition had gone to the north and to the east that somebody drew their attention to it, and Baba just panicked and radioed all the distribution vehicles, you know, to come back to Kakawa.
Why did he panic?
They didn't want Gowon to see it. They felt that if Gowon saw that article, and they would close down the Daily Times and probably send me to jail. So the copies were brought, and 30,000 copies of Daily Times were burnt. So that day, that morning, there was no Daily Times in the north and Daily Times in the east.
Because of Tola Adeniyi?
Yes, because of Abba Said.
Abba Said.
Yes.